Hey, what's up guys, George here, and today we're going to be working on the car a little bit more. Today we're going to be installing a new radiator, which I've got right here. It's a dual core radiator to replace the one that's in the car, which is pretty ruined. We're going to be putting new air filter, and I actually already did that. This is the old one. It's pretty messed up. This is the old one I put in, and the new one I put in is the exact same one actually, and it's just amazing how long it's been since this one was changed. It looks just messed up completely. It's bent. It looks like it sucked up a lot of bad stuff, and it was time for a new air filter. So we've got that. And then I've gotten new battery tie downs because right now there's really not much holding the battery actually into the car. If I went over a big bump, it would just pretty much smash into the hood, and that's something that shouldn't even be. So we got these new battery tie downs that should hopefully fix our problem. So let's get down to doing that stuff. Alright, so here's a new air filter. I just put it in. It didn't seem like it would be that interesting for you guys to watch. It's pretty much just an air filter. And just looking back at it, that's the new one and this is the old one. Just comparing them. I mean, it's the same filter. It's the same brand, and this one's just like really messed up. Like, I don't, like, that's just like, it's completely smashed. I don't even know. It's like, not good. So that's in the garbage now. Battery right here. Nothing is holding it in right there. And I mean, I'm hoping that this new tie down I got should help us with that. And then, of course, the radiator, which, I don't know. I actually need to get a new radiator fan as well. As you can see, it's missing a piece right there. The radiator, I don't know if you guys can see. It's definitely needs to be looked at, definitely. You'll be able to get a better look once I get it out of the car. But it definitely needs to be replaced, and I think it's just time to get a new one. And we're going to be throwing in some new coolant as well, just to give the engine the best fluids we can get. Alright, so now we're just going to be taking the front bumper off again, just so we can get out the radiator.
I rise just like a phoenix, born from the ashes. I take care of my own. Torn down.
Alright, so we got the front bumper. We just throw that over here. That. Now we're a little bit closer in to get the radiator off. So I looked around a little bit, figured out pretty much what we gotta do. Just looking right there, you can see there is some damage here. Some more down there, but on the back, there's a little bit more extensive damage, and it was just, I feel, time for a new radiator. And I mean, cooling with a car isn't something you should just go cheap on. You want the car to stay cool. You don't want it to overheat, because that just causes more problems. So I just decided a good new radiator would probably be the best bet for this. Alright, so now we're just going to take off the radiator hoses. No way. That was a good catch. Before we do this, we're going to want to drain the fluid out of the radiator. Alright, so we're going to drain our coolant into here. I almost completely didn't. Yeah, that would have been pretty awkward. And then, alright, so the coolant is draining out right now. Just going to wait for that to happen. Okay, so we're just going to take off our hoses off of the radiator. Pull this one off. Then we're going to pull the one down there. So all the coolant was not out of the system. Yeah. So, I guess we've got some coolant on the floor now. As I said before, not the end of the world, just kind of a pain to clean up. So, I guess that's it. So, this is our old radiator. You can definitely see where, mean, that was what I was talking about earlier, right here where the fan, something got launched in it, and that happened. You can't really see where the fan was. I mean, it was repaired here, I guess, and I mean, that is just definitely some extensive damage, and more on this side. And it just definitely seemed like it was time for a new radiator. This one's, as you can see, it's like that thin, and our new one should be thicker, help us get more cooling, and just to look nice and shiny and new. Alright, and here is our new radiator. You can see how much thicker it is. Get some more cooling with this one, nice and clean, no messed up pieces. It's got a little baggie over that. A baggie over this. Got that off, so we're going to throw this one in the car. Much thicker, extra cooling, and it's going to be pretty cool. Got our new radiator. Make sure we got it in the right way. And let's try and get this in here. Now, just looking, the air intake is kind of in the way because it's just a little bit thicker. And I took the zip ties off just so I can move it around a bit. I'm going to probably have to re-zip tie it in or actually install it correctly. Probably should do it correctly, but I don't have the right mounting pieces. So let me just show you guys exactly what the problem is. Now, the old radiator was, as you imagine, it was a lot thinner than this one. It was, I imagine, probably about half or a little less than half as thick. So, the air intake, which I had to actually remove just so I could get this in, when it was on here, connected up in there, tightened up and stuff, well, first of all, there wasn't a problem with it hitting this mount here. And, of course, it was taller, so the mount actually fits. So I'm probably going to have to bend that a bit to make that fit correctly on this factory mount. And the radiator, whatever it's called, the intake would fit around. There was enough space in between the radiator and the radiator fan for this to fit nicely without hitting anything. And that no longer is the case, as it's going to hit the radiator fan, which is kind of going to be a problem. So either I'm going to find a way to make this fit, or I'm going to have to get a electronic radiator fan, which isn't the end of the world. It's just not something I thought I was going to have to get just yet. But, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, so either we're going to make it fit like this, or we're going to get an electric radiator fan. But before that, I'm just going to try and make it fit, see if I can bend some stuff, get some stuff going on, just to allow the clearance. Okay, so I'm back now. This was pretty tough, I have to say, getting the, well, the issue was the radiator fan here, which, it's not too bad. Well, it's mechanical, so it is driven by the engine, and this was having trouble with our new thick radiator, which the new one's this thick, and the old one is about this thick. So I'm having some trouble. I was having trouble getting it to fit. So because on the old one, this was flush with this, not flush, but they were at the same level. This could go like next to it. The intake could go next to the radiator, but with this thicker radiator, the intake could not go next to it. I spent a long time just trying to get as much space out of it as I could. I hammered out the edges, both sides there, down here, I hammered it out. Too, it was just a long process, and this is pretty much what I ended up with. This is by no means how I plan on ever driving the car. It's just to hold it in place, just so I can make sure everything fit. And now I'm just going to have to try and get the right fittings so I can keep it on like this. Now, it's kind of rough. I think the way around this is just going to be to get electric radiator fans, which I knew I eventually would have to do, but I just wasn't planning on it quite yet. But that's probably going to be something I'm going to have to do in the near future before I ever do something. Because, I mean, it's pretty solid with the zip ties right now, but, I mean, I mean, it was held in before by zip ties, but I know by no means want to ever drive it like that. It's just kind of like holding it. It's just a placeholder. And the good thing is the fan clears now, which is good. No problems with it hitting. So, it was tough. I hope that once I get the electric fans, I'll be able to put it right back down in there. And another issue I was running into is, of course, the hood. When it comes down, it was having trouble. I didn't want, because obviously when the hood's up, you've got the intake here, and it could be up here for all I care, and it wouldn't rub, it wouldn't hit it. But the problem was I would have it set up one way, the hood would come down, push it down, and then it would hit the fan after it was pushed down. Which, I mean, that's a problem because most of the time you're driving, or all of the time you're driving with the hood down, so it's got to be able to fit. And another thing, this radiator, the cap, it's kind of in a tough spot. It's kind of wedged against the intake. But I mean, you can get it off. You just have to use a little force to kind of squeeze it by, which is not the end of the world, but it's just kind of, I want to get it done right, not kind of just like, you got to remove the intake to change the radiator fluid, that kind of thing. So, if I can ever get it back, that doesn't even matter. So I'm pretty happy with what I've mocked up so far. Definitely am going to try and get something to actually hold it in, a real thing. I mean, I put the, this is the cap from the old radiator, because the one from the new one, as you can see here, is a little bit bigger, and this one just gave me a little more clearance, which is good. So I'm very happy with how the engine bay is starting to look. The nice new shiny aluminum radiator, pretty great. And then, of course, we've got our new air filter, which is very nice and red. And then now, what I'm going to be doing is, of course, the battery, which is not really attached to the vehicle. So I bought a new battery tie-down thingy, and I'm going to try and put that on right now. That should be a little bit easier than this radiator, but we'll find out. Okay, so we're just going to disconnect the battery, just so we don't have any issues with that. So I'm just going to take the battery out of the car. See what we've got to work with here. I now have the sneaking suspicion that this battery is leaking some kind of fluid. Well, battery fluid or something. So I'm probably going to have to go buy a new battery as well. But, I mean, for now, I'm just going to try. Well, no matter what battery I get, it's going to have to be tied in. So here we've got our new battery tie-downs. See what we got in here. We got stuff. So what we've got, big stuff, and this. Okay, so here's marked where I'm going to drill a hole in the bottom of this thing. Okay, the hole a little bit bigger. So I got my hole down here. I've decided to use this longer one. I drilled a new hole. I was about to go drill through, then I realized the wiring harness goes right here. So I had to be sure not to drill through that, or that would have been pretty bad. Because you want the wiring harness to be, let's say, not drilled through. It usually helps with like the working of the car. Alright, so we got our second one, and I think we're ready to throw the battery back in. Not really throw, but put the battery back where it was originally. This up. This around. Through there. This. Now, my concern, I don't know if this even will be a concern, that this is going to be poking up too high. And maybe the hood won't close. I'm not exactly sure. So yeah, that's not going to close. I guessed correctly. We're going to have to cut that off, which is kind of a pain, but could be bigger problems. Alright, so that's a little bit shorter now. Let's see if this will close. Looks like it does. We got a little trouble there. Another thing I'm pretty happy about is that my modified air intake, whatever you want to call it, fits in. That was one of the problems I was having. The hood was hitting it, but how I have it set up now, no problems with the hood hitting it. So, pretty good. So as I said before, this is no means how I plan to leave the intake radiator system. It's just kind of a temporary thing. I haven't put any coolant in yet. I've got some right there. That's going to go in pretty soon. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Got a new air filter on right there. We got a new radiator on. We got some nice zip ties. And then we got the battery is going to be staying in place because we have these battery holder thingies. So, some other things I'm going to have to get for the engine bay. Probably going to have to get new coolant overflow tank. Because, of course, in all the S13s, they just go pretty quickly. Or it's 25 years, 24 years later. So, plastic, as you would imagine, doesn't hold up that well over that much time. Still due for an oil change. Haven't gotten around to that yet. I'll probably put on some new spark plugs. Possibly bleed the brakes. I don't really know. See what's got to be done. So, I'm very happy with what's happened so far. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.